Hi, my name is Fatima and welcome to my channel, The Avid Peruser. This channel is about books. It's about reading books, reviewing books. So the goal of this channel is to complete 20 nonfiction books. This is my goal for my Goodreads. You know, every year Goodreads asks you how many books do you plan on reading a year, right? So last year I made my goal to read 365 books in 2019. And on that list, I wanted to try and read 5 nonfiction books, right? Well, nonfiction is my kryptonite, and I did not read any nonfiction books actually, but instead I read 375 fiction books, you know? I mean, fiction is just my love. I mean, there's so many good books out there. I mean, so many great nonfiction stories and worlds, and just so many genres under nonfiction that you can find your niche, you know? Like, if you like bikers, you know, there's tons of fiction stories about bikers or mobs and mafias or FBI murder mysteries and thrillers and crazy campfire kind of stories that end up to being adventures. And you know, there's post-apocalyptic books, there's paranormal books, there's sci-fi, there's even this awesome genre called reverse harem. And let me say, everyone should check out at least one reverse harem. I have a few that I love that I do plan on reviewing. So just word wise, reverse fiction, reverse harem is where it's at, right? But nonfiction is my kryptonite. It's dry. It's like, you have to be in this mindset to really, I hate to say the word learn, but it's not something you could just sit down and read, you know? Most nonfiction has like little homework assignments inside that you do to reflect on what you just read, or things that you have to abide by for a couple of days and add to your everyday routine to prove or to just allow the book to work for you. You know, I mean, there's not a way you can just sit down and read a nonfiction and not have to reflect or, you know, dig deep and see how it makes you feel. Whereas like fiction, you can just sink in on the couch, cozy mug, hot cocoa, tea, coffee, whatever's your thing, Red Bull, Monster, Cool Beans, and just dive deep into the story and the world and the characters. There's not much effort to it, I would say, at least not for me, because I love fiction. Fiction is my jam. So, as you can imagine now that I've said that, reading 20 nonfiction books is going to be torture. But hopefully not so much torture, because it is still a book that I won't be able to finish. So I will begin this journey today, the 5th of January 2020, and I have already started reading my first book, which is The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. I received this book as a gift, and ironically, because it's the gift of imperfection. And it's a short book. It's only about 130, 140 pages, but Miss Brown has a lot of homework assignments inside. There's a lot of questioning yourself and a lot of digging deep. And this is not going to be an easy book for me to complete. So for all my nonfiction books, I'm giving myself 2 to 3 weeks to complete. So in the meantime, because I would love to be extremely consistent in uploading videos, I'm going to reflect back on my 2019 and review some of the books that I completed. I mean, there's 375 of them, so there's plenty to review. And the first book that I'm going to review is Under Different Stars. It's actually a series. I'm going to try and do series because I've completed so many, and they're better to give you the full breadth of how the story ended and different like midpoints and peaks and valleys and all that good stuff, right? So Under Different Stars is the Cricket Hallowell series. It's by Amy Bartle, and I love love this series. I've actually read it about 7 times. So, and everybody I came across, I told them about this story and this series, and I even like gave them my Kindle to borrow, but like, look, read it. Just let me know how you feel. It's fantastic. You know, it takes you to another world, literally. And so, like, this isn't the review, but you can imagine how good the review is going to be if this is how passionate I am about it, right? So, on that note, I have devised a 5-point ranking system, I guess you want to say. So I've got 1 through 5 and how I'm going to rank books that I read or come across, right? So the first book ranking is a 1. 1 is bad. So 5, you want a 5. 5 is good. So 1, I'm calling this category DNF. It's literally, I cannot. Doesn't matter what happens in the story, I cannot finish this book. It's bad. I want to tear my eyes out because I just can't follow the character, or I hate the character, I hate the story, I hate the world. I just hate everything about this. And that instead of trying to struggle through this book, I can read several other books that are probably way better. Hopefully, you never know. You judge a book and you pick it and you hope that it's good. Not all books are winners, right? So that's category 1. Category 2 is called Killed Me. Like, it literally killed me to finish this, but I did. These are stories that I keep hoping the next chapter will be better, and I keep like praying the character is a little better. So it's like I have so much hope that I was like, it's got to get better. And I kind of just want to see how it ends, because I'm like, it can't all be this bad, right? But I don't totally hate it. So it's not a DNF. Like, I was able to finish it, but I didn't like it. So that's category 2. Category 3 is like our average books. I'm calling this category, just okay. So these are books where I either love the story and the plot and what's going on, but hated the actual individual characters, or I love the characters and their development, everything, but the storyline was just weak, and I was just like, so it's not what I would consider a perfectly balanced book. It's it's just okay. I finished it. I didn't have a problem with finishing it. I didn't totally hate it, but it wasn't like really good or really awesome. Like, I didn't like both aspects of the character or the story, So that's category 3. Category 4 is called a page flipper. Yes. You would think a page flipper would be like the best of all books, but it could be better, right? So page flipper is a book that's good, but you could potentially put down, right? So it's a book that you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, you're reading, you're like, oh, you're gonna, no, she didn't. Is she really? Oh man, right? So you're into the story. It's great. It's getting good. And then but you're like, oh, but I'm hungry. My stomach just growled. Let me go put this book down and go make a snack, right? You can literally put it down and you can go come back to it. It's not the end of the world, but it's a good story, right? So that's category 4. Category 5 is devoured. Like, to devour a book is almost like you are being devoured by said book, because you can't put it down. You literally can't even eat, sleep, relieve yourself, because the book is that good and you're afraid you might miss something. These are books where you start them, chapter 1, let's say you just had morning coffee, you sit down, like, oh, I'll make breakfast in a few minutes, let me just start this book. So you're drinking your coffee and you're like, whoa, you're so into it, then you look up and it's 3 hours later and you're like, I forgot I was hungry. What? And yeah, your coffee was long gone, but it's so good. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, give one more chapter. I'm gonna go make some food, right? 5 chapters later, you still have not eaten. This is devoured. You are so into this story or into the characters or into into everything about this world and this series that you literally are being devoured by this book. So that's my top 5. If you get a 5, you have breached my soul and there's no coming back. You're like on my best books ever list, right? So those are the 5 categories, point system. I haven't figured out really what I'm going to call that I'm going to rank the books that I've read. So this is pretty much for the fiction books though. Nonfiction has their own kind of ranking because it's not like anyone devours a nonfiction book, you know. It's not like you can sit there and finish it in an afternoon. I feel like nonfiction takes more work because you're learning, you're absorbing, you're learning new techniques, or you're understanding how to perceive somebody differently, or just people in general, like if it's one of those books, or you're, you know, if it's like a health book, you're probably testing out a new healthy way of doing something, right? Yeah, for nonfiction though, I think I'm just going to more review it and as a how I feel about it scenario, like how much information I felt I could absorb, if I thought the author was getting their point across, or if I think it was applicable to my life, or if I would be able to follow with the steps or the things that I learned for the future. I think that's more how I'm gonna review the nonfiction books. So since it is going to take about 2 weeks before I finish this book, or I'm giving myself 2 weeks. I mean, I might finish it sooner. I will let you guys know. And in the meantime, I'll probably start recording my review for the Cricket Hollow series from by Amy A. Bartle. And the reason I say her middle name is because that's just how it's written on the book, and I feel like it's disrespectful to not say it if it's written on the book. I mean, she wants it there for a reason. Maybe. Well, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Happy reading.